Welcome to Winging It. We're doing deck upgrades today in Arkham Horror, the card game. This is Return to the Forgotten Age with Winnie and Jacqueline going into the second scenario. They have earned 7 XP, although Winnie has 9 to spend because she had the binoculars. Now, this is a bit weird for me because I'm coming back to this campaign after a couple of months because I recorded the first scenario. And then Innsmouth came out and I got all excited about that and I played that a bunch and tried to wrap up some other videos I was working on. So there's a significant time gap. And of course there's a bunch of new cards that have been released. And so I don't know exactly where my brain was at in terms of where I was going with these decks originally, but I had marked my upgrades, so I'm going to go with what I had originally, and maybe as I get into this, I'll be able to be a little bit more intelligent about what I'm doing. So anyway, we have Winnie with her 9 XP to spend. I know I wanted to make this a Chuck Fergus deck, so I'm going to go ahead and stick him in there. He's an ally, 2/2 soak, costs 5 XP, and then he has a free trigger. You can exhaust him whenever you play an event, and you can choose 2 of the 3. You can either the event can game fast, you can play it cheaper, or you can get a skill boost for it. That's why I have a lot of these events in the deck. I'm planning on leveraging them. I'm planning to use the upgraded versions of like Backstab and getting Pilfer in here. So anyway, we're going to take out Fine Clothes because we don't need that anymore. We're done parlaying with Ichitaka. And he'll replace that. Then the next super important upgrade, that's 5 of my 9 XP. I'm going to spend 2 XP to replace the lockpicks with the upgraded lockpicks. You need reliability. I mean, you can always draw an auto fail. I mean, the lockpick 0 can be a negative because they really force you to overcommit to test. It's not a big deal for Winnie, but you still want the reliability of the upgraded lockpicks. So that gets us to 7 XP with 2 more XP to spend. Now, in any normal campaign, I would probably just put Karen Zobel in, but in TFA, you end up with so much XP, especially, I'm not totally sold on forging your own path. I'll have to revisit that, whether that's something I really want to do. But if I do end up forging my own path, she's going to get a lot of XP. Either way, you get a lot of XP in TFA. So I'm not, I don't feel like there's really a big motivation to put Karen Zobel in. So I'm going to spend that 2 XP instead on just upgrading manual dexterity, which gives you an extra icon, unless you draw 2 extra cards. In case instead of 1, if you succeed by 2 or more, which she should be able to do. So, one thing I really want to do is power through this deck. I want to be able to get, Chuck out quickly. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep Gregory Gry in this deck and get a charisma, or if I'll just plan to play Gregory Gry, get some resources, and replace him with Chuck. I guess we'll see how it goes and, what I want to do with that. But she has loads of card draw. This manual dexterity will just give her more card draw. And we just really want to tighten up her deck, get through it fast, and be able to get all the, important cards out. Part of having Chuck in there is getting him and then getting the events that synergize with him. And then, you can be, fairly strong. At least that's my experience. So anyway, let's go take a look at Jacqueline. Alright, now with Jacqueline, she only has 7 XP to spend, but she also has 2 from the Arcane Research that allows her to upgrade a spell. So we're going to immediately use 2 of that XP to upgrade one of our wards of protection into the level 2 ward of protection. That will allow her to cancel treacheries for Winnie, which is really good because Winnie's 1 willpower means that canceling her treacheries might be good. And you can even cancel them coming out of the Explorer deck. So it's definitely something we want to be able to do. And in fact, it's so good, we're going to spend 2 of our regular XP to also upgrade the other ward of protection. So now we have 2 leveled up wards of protections. So that's really good. Now, the other thing I have is with 5 XP left to spend. And this is one of those concerns, like when you're upgrading decks, there's a question between, am I really going after these key combo pieces that I really need for my deck? But another consideration is also, are there cards in my deck that are currently weak that I want to get rid of? And one of those cards that I think is kind of rough at level 0 is the Robes of Endless Night, because just the 3 cost in order to get back the savings, It can leave you a little bit in a difficult place. You know, it's the upgraded version is only 2 costs, but that extra resource makes a big difference, I think. And then of course the added ability to trigger when you play a spell, you don't provoke attacks of opportunity, which also has some economy savings in that you don't have to have your damage spells out right away. You can wait and hold on to them, kind of like a rogue sometimes does. And it allows you to put your economy into other things. Given that this is an economy card, that it gives you that cost reduction, like the cost reduction between the level 2 and the level 3, I think is pretty important. And I think this is the level 0 version is a marginal card at best. I think the level 2 version is much better. So I'm going to spend 4 of my 5 XP just replacing those robes with the new versions of the robes. So I have 1 XP left to spend, and I'm actually going to bank it. Now there's an argument for just putting a 4 of Cups in, because of course we're willpower stacking because we are playing a mystic, and that's just kind of how you roll. But I don't remember where my head was at, what my plans were ultimately for these decks in terms of my upgrades, and I don't think that we've already got the Crystal Pendulum for willpower stacking, so I know we're going to be upgrading our spells eventually, so I'm not sure how important 4 of Cups is going to be. It's probably something that I'll stick in there, but for now I'm comfortable just banking the XP and making sure that we can afford like a nice upgrades coming next scenario. So we're going to go ahead and stick with this. Bank 1 XP. We'll take the 2 Wards of Protection, the 2 Robes of Endless Night, and that should get us in a good place. So let's go play Return to the Doom of Eztli.